we wake up every day with the feeling of having to go to work and be something that we aren't. You have to go to work and be a character. You're not allowed to show up at work and be yourself. A lot of people don't really listen to that internal compass. We do things for money. We don't do things because we love them. When we get home, we try to make time for the things we love, but ultimately, we are surrounded by a bunch of other things that pull us away from who we really are. So when you sit in that isolated space, like so many people will get in that space and be like, what do I do now? Just sit still. And when you listen, things will start making sense because you start to look at life. It hurts because you start to realize like, yo, I don't fuck with this in my life. I don't fuck with that in my life. I don't like this part of my life. And the hard part is not accepting that energy, but looking at it and saying, okay, how can I change that? That's where the initiative comes in. You have to be willing to look at what you don't like in your life and take a step to change that. Good morning. It's Thursday. I believe today is the 18th. No, today is the 20th. I'm 2 days behind. Okay. Today is Thursday, November 20th. And today, I got a few notes on the importance of isolation right now. Spiritually, a lot of people are going through a period of isolation. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people are going through a process of isolation, but that isolation can be a benefit if you understand what's really going on right now. Knowledge of self is so important right now, especially in this world that we live in, simply because when you have knowledge of self, you're not easily influenced by outside energy. So with that, it's one of those things where people will tell you they don't like being alone. People don't like, we've gotten accustomed to doing things as a group. And with that comes shared energy, shared responsibility, but no real identity. A lot of people are against the individualism moment that's taking place in the universe right now, but it's very important for us to understand how dire it is to know who you are, who God created you to be, instead of being what the world needed you to be. You know what I mean? We go to work every day. Cool. Your job tells you who to be. You come home to your kids every day. You have to be somebody for them. Your brothers, sisters, friends, they all have these expectations of who you're supposed to be. So the bottom line with that is once you're no longer in a position where you have to be somebody for somebody else, who are you then in those moments? Like that's when you get down to the core of who you are. So with that, it's kind of a tricky situation with that because it requires isolation to know that. You can't constantly be surrounded by people and have a relationship with yourself. You can't truly understand yourself if you're always looking to fill a role for somebody else. And yeah, we are meant to be great friends. We're meant to be great parents, great brothers, great sisters, great moms, great dads. But without actually knowing how to be a good person, is there any benefit to that? So today, just real quick, I'm going to run through 3 different topics based around isolation. For one, isolation brings you a connection to source, to God, whatever it is that you labeled the omnipotent energy that is in the world that makes sure that everything goes according to plan. So in isolation, you're able to listen to your inner compass more. You're not constantly listening to outside things that are constantly distracting you from your core. A lot of the time we won't reject things because we feel like it'll be rude. But it's very important to reject things when your inner conscience says, no, this isn't for us. So with that, it comes to a point where isolation will be somewhat like, I'm not going to say it's going to be forced on you, but in those moments, it's very important not to go looking for outside stimulation. Find ways to actually build your character up. Find ways to build your internal compass and make it stronger. So there's a big difference between isolation and solitude. Solitude is when I feel like solitude is, I don't want to paraphrase, so let me start by finding the proper definition of solitude. That way I'm not giving out false information based around things that I'm speaking. So according to the dictionary, the definition of solitude is the state or situation of being alone, a lonely or inhabited place. So with that, it's like, that would seem more of a dreadful situation. Like that would be something that people would try to stay away from. So when you have isolation is the process or fact of isolating or being isolated. So with that, sis, I'm so glad you joined. What's going on? Man, just talking this morning about the importance of isolating. And right now I'm going through the definition of isolation versus solitude. Solitude would be more of a dark corner. Isolation is more of a practice act where you have to withdraw and go internally. So with that, I mean, I feel like the topic that I'm on right now is how isolation can connect you back to source. And when we constantly live in the world and we're constantly being stimulated by things outside of our own moral compass and our own internal intuition, a lot of the time we lose track of who we actually are. So the world right now is being pushed into a space of isolation where you have to learn who you are. And if you don't know who you are, it's very important to start creating who you want to be. So the biggest difference, like I said, between isolation and solitude, everybody right now, I appreciate everybody that's on Facebook. We on Twitch right now, and we are on TikTok. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in. But isolation is when you know you have to do the work. Solitude is more like a punishment. When you were a kid, you were placed into a solitude when you did something wrong. Isolation is more of a self-willed effort to pull back away from the world. And honestly, the universe is telling everybody isolate right now, especially our people, because so many of us don't know who we are. A lot of us have no idea who we are and the importance that we hold in this world. So right now, it's important to listen to that voice when it's telling us like, yo, hey, fall back, take a break. And the world has pushed us so far to feel like we have to be doing shit that in those moments where isolation is calling us, we'll sit there and be like, no, I gotta do something. I gotta be doing this. I gotta be doing that. I'm guilty of it myself. I'm not gonna sit up here and everybody know I'm far from a fucking saint. But in the same instance, I had to learn when to pull back. And it's so important to understand when to pull back. You have to know when this world is beginning to drain you, when the world is beginning to overstimulate you, and you have to pull back from it. But the second cue on this segment, and I think it's mostly coping. Yeah. We've been taught that we're supposed to get up. I just had a conversation last night that broke down the chain of events of how we got here. Our people were forced into slavery and beaten when they were punished. Eventually, that became a way of life for our people. It wasn't our original way of life, but that was how we were taught, because for generations, everybody was punished. Like, oh, if you do wrong, you're going to be punished. We were raised in fear. And now we're in that age where it's like, why are we fearing something that's equal to us? We are finally realizing we have an equal playing field. We're no longer expecting people to give us the handouts. We're not expecting people to help us. We are literally finally taking it on ourselves to say, fuck y'all, I'm going to do this for me. And the first step of that is isolation. Like, it's the most, what'd you say, sis? But yeah, we're saying we're doing it all. I think it's like this better signal real quick. Hold on. You good? But I'm gonna keep going. The second cue on this one is how silence helps. Yeah, you good. The second cue is how silence help you reconnect with a higher purpose. As I said, we wake up every day with the feeling of having to go to work and be something that we aren't. You have to go to work and be a character. You're not allowed to show up at work and be yourself. And the importance to that is the fact that a lot of people don't really listen to that internal compass. We do things for money. We don't do things because we love them. When we get home, we try to make time for the things we love, but ultimately, we are surrounded by a bunch of other things that pull us away from who we really are. So when you sit in that isolated space, like, so many people will get in that space and be like, what do I do now? Just sit still. Listen. And when you listen, things will start making sense, because you start to look at life. it hurts because you start to realize, like, yo, I don't fuck with this in my life. I don't fuck with that in my life. I don't like this part of my life. And the hard part is not accepting that energy, but looking at it and saying, okay, how can I change that? That's where the initiative comes in. You have to be willing to look at what you don't like in your life and take a step to change that. So when you sit in that silence, you're going to be faced with that person in the mirror. You don't get to look at everybody else and say, well, they do that, well, they do that, they do that. No, you have to literally sit with yourself and deal with your own demons. That's what they label it, demons. It's negative energy. That's all it really is. Anything that is a negative to your energy can be considered a demon. And again, this is just my perspective. This is just me talking from what I've learned and what I've experienced in life. I don't want nobody hopping on here talking about duality. We are domesticated. And the hardest part is stepping. The first step is to realize you are domesticated. Once you can realize that you've been domesticated in the brain, you're able to tap in and see exactly where you were domesticated. Excuse the vacuum in the back. I'm up here in the front office. But we're not gonna let nothing throw this message off though. So when you realize, like, damn, I really just been doing what everybody else has been asking me to do. I go to work, I don't argue. I come home, I don't argue, and then I fall asleep. That's usually what most people do. They wake up and fill in these gaps where people need them. But how often do people wake up and literally, like when I wake up every morning, I have to ask myself, how do I feel? I don't give a fuck about nobody else when I first wake up. How do I feel? Because according to how I feel, I now know how I can deal with other people. I know what my tolerance level is. If I wake up and I don't feel like it's shit, I'm probably going to go back to sleep, take a nap, and just try it again. But that's to restabilize my energy. But for most people, as soon as they wake up, they think about other people. They think about their job. They think about, oh, my boss might be mad if I don't come in today. But your internal compass may be telling you, yo, we need a day. We need a day for us. But so many people.
They call them mental health days.
Yeah, now they finally instilled mental health days because you need days where you just have that time for yourself. But ultimately, how many people will still look at that situation and be like, I don't feel like it, but I know if I don't go to work, basically, I'm gonna be punished. You gotta stop fearing that punishment, understanding you're capable of all things. Like, if you lose this job, whatever's meant for you is gonna happen for you. Like, it's a part of that compass. Like, when you're happy, and you know you're happy. You know the things that fuel you. But for so many people, they've never had an opportunity to actually get to know themselves, that they feel like that character that they create is based around the money that they make. It's based around the job that they work. It's based around everything outside of themselves. No problem. You're fine. Ultimately, like, when people, it goes back to the original point of this segment, the isolation. When you have isolation, you have time to think. You have time to actually be true to yourself, as long as you know what that looks like. A lot of people have no idea what that looks like, because even as a kid, how many of us grew up and had titles in the house? Like, you have to be the big sister. You have to be the big brother. You have to be the man of the house. You have to be the cook. You have to be the cleaner. We had chores and things. We never really had time to sit down as children and say, hey, this is who I want to be. Our parents taught us that work was important. Work till you retire, and then you can do what you want to do. That's bullshit, though. That's bullshit. And that's not like, I tell everybody, you have to work in order to live. I'm not telling nobody go be rebellious, quit your job, and say fuck the system. No, don't do that. But understand, like, it's like weaning. When you have a kid, you have to wean that kid off a pacifier. You know what I mean? You can't just take the pacifier, because what happens? That kid wilds the fuck out. See, Lil Corey was different. She went one night without her pacifier, and I promise you, she never wanted it again. Like, after she realized, like, damn, I ain't got my pacifier. Like, it wasn't like a fight. It was just like, okay, let me find something else. But that goes back to having the space to know. These kids are different. We not these kids are so much different. They're so much more advanced than a lot of us were back then. But again, we were forced to take vaccinations. We were forced to be experimented on in such a sense. We didn't get a chance to naturally grow as kids. They controlled how we grew up. So now our children are being gifted with the opportunity to create themselves at a young age. I love how you raise the boys because you genuinely are curious about who they are on an individual level. It's not
I care about the whole self.
Yeah, like you're not telling them who to be. You're not telling them, like me. I tell everybody, it was me, my mom, and my sister. What do you think I was to that house? I was a man of the house before I ever became a man.
Right. And I have to constantly remind my two boys, it's just me and my two boys, that, hey, your job is just to be a kid, right?
That's it.
That's all you do.
It's so many of us that never got the opportunity to just be a kid. Our childhood was timed according to our parents' needs.
Yeah, hit me out with this one, right?
Yeah.
And it's okay. Because this part of me, it just didn't come magically as soon as I pushed them out. You know what I mean? I had to see it happen because I grew up in a single parent household as well with boys in the household. And I see what choices they made to make sure that their family was taken care of. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
In the house, even with the nicknames, man, and all of this. You know what I mean?
The labels.
Stand them that they're the men in the house and they have responsibilities and they get punished and chastised like being a man of the house and you're only 13. So I seen what that led them to. Because if you're worrying about certain things and not being a kid, you end up making impulsive decisions.
Yeah.
That could lead to lifetimes of pain.
Yeah.
So I don't really fault some of the things in my how we was brought up. Because I was able to see and learn. Because I'm that type of person that I don't have to necessarily go through it. I'm an empath, so I'm gonna feel it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I see it, and I saw it in my brothers.
A lot of the time, we don't. Like I give my mom full credit for what she did. They say a woman can't raise a man. I say bullshit. I say bullshit because my mama raised a hell of a man. Like I done made my mistakes, but she didn't raise me to cower. She didn't raise me to be fearful. She raised me to know how to handle and take no shit from the world. So
fully about a man because we're not men.
You can't. It ain't even that. It's not even that. You can't teach a man because God has a covenant with every man. He has to create his own man. Like end of the day, every man on this planet becomes their own man. He has to lead a family someday. And what that comes with, you have to know who you are as a man. You have to know your strengths and weaknesses. You have to identify those things on your own. I didn't start thinking like this until I went to prison, and you know that. Like,
right. So my brother's majority.
Yeah.
My best, like, you know what I used to do? I'm gonna bring a person. You know what I used to do as a kid? Always look at what I didn't have and didn't realize what I had present.
Yeah.
So I think that's a lot to do with it too, because we're so conditioned, so domesticated to look at what we don't have because we're supposed to be this type of thing, right?
Yeah.
We forget what we have. This is the reasons we have families, right? Like my father, he just wasn't able to be. He was destined to bring us here. That's it.
And sometimes that's all. Sometimes that's all they there for.
Still have uncles.
Mm-hmm.
In my household, Mom, you got to spend time with your dad. I know what he did, but it's still your dad. You have to respect him. Like, why are we putting this energy into this dude that clearly don't want to? Why can't I go down there to Uncle such and such or Papa? You know what I mean? Like,
and it comes with that domestication of saying you're a father, so you're supposed to do this.
That's your father or that's your parent, and you're supposed to.
But the thing I had to learn, like you know, I love my parents, but I don't have a solid relationship with them. But the thing that I did learn how to do on my own is look at what I come from. And based on that, as a man, like you get to pick and choose what traits you carry. You may be a perfect copy of both your mother and your father, but until you look in the mirror and be like, okay, cool, that parent does this. That doesn't fit me. I don't like that about them. So I don't want that. This parent does this. I don't want that.
That's what it is. I don't want my kids to do the same things I'm doing.
Facts.
What's right and what resonates with you. and enhance it.
And enhance it. That's it. Like these kids are, and once we learn that we're simply electrically charged beings on this planet, and we have a direct connection to God, what you do is you start to strengthen those kids with their self-awareness. You tell them to spend time by themselves. It's okay to be isolated. It's okay to take some time for you. You don't always have to come check on people. I got one kid right now, but everybody know I want more. I would never make my kids people pleasers. Like if you don't want to do something, like I'm man enough to be like, yo, I don't want none of my kids live. I'm gonna teach y'all how to clean by making sure that shit is clean. I'm not gonna make it a job and give you an incentive to teach you how to work for people.
You have to clean up, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's the extra stuff you get incentives for when you're going out your way.
When you go to school and good grades, like when you start taking it upon yourself to say, like if I'm living with my child and I realize like my child comes home and it's like, oh, the trash needs to be taken out. Oh, I didn't have to tell you to do that. Here, that's your incentive. Like I appreciate you get incentives based on taking initiative, and that's the key to life. Like nobody, even at a job, you're gonna get your pay rate, but the way you get that raise is by looking and saying, what else can I do? What more can I do within this system? And the problem is, us as a people, we got so caught up in helping their system. And you know what I mean when I say their system? We stopped creating our own systems. Man, listen, when they was talking about bringing segregation back, I said, please bring it. Because, listen, after that, you don't have no more excuses. They're going to expose the people that have not, and it's going to expose the people that have. The people that are thinkers, the people that are builders, we going to work together. Everybody else that's been looking for a handout, they just accustomed to being domestic. It's like a pet. Like your dog knows when you come home, let me sit at the front door so that way I know I can get something to eat. We move the same way. Shit, here come the boss. Hey, y'all, tighten up. Bro, what the fuck is you doing? Like, that's why everybody be like, bro, I had somebody tell me, like, you need to learn how to be a worker. For what? For what? I need to learn how to be a worker?
That's what you in school.
Like, I'm definitely one of them kids that was like, bro, Corey, you can get out if you know, that's fine, bro. I go walk the hallways. If I get suspended, I get suspended. Like, they teach you, like right now, I look at that. They're teaching these kids coding math. They're not teaching them simple mathematics. They're teaching them coding math. And I know that because I'm a nerd. Like I fuck with computers and technology. So like I'm looking at it, I'm like, yo, this is all coding. Like it's on a grid. It's the numbers. Make sure they placed right. Like, nah, like why are they teaching 4-year-olds this? Like we learned simple multiplication. 5 times 3 equals 15. What is all this cross multiplication and division? Like, what is all these new methods of math that y'all teach? This is coding. Y'all teaching these kids how to code because y'all are realizing black people don't want to be slaves no more. We don't care about the dollar no more because we're starting to realize we can barter with each other. Like, okay, cool. If you got this service, I need that service. Let's swap service for service. That way we both build each other up. That's what we need to get back to. People don't even realize, like, me and you talk a lot. Like people don't realize, like, when you work for the American dollar, it's basically like worshiping their ancestors. Because who's on the dollar bill? Who's on the dollar bill? It's their ancestors.
So
we worship their ancestors. Like I gotta go get this money. Bro, you chasing. They say it in music all day. I'm chasing dead president. It's literally the mentality of saying, they said this is what I need in order to live here. It's like if me and you live in a house together, sis, and I tell you the only way you can live here is if you got 15 shoestrings. Like end of the day, like if you want to live there, a motherfucker gonna go out and find 15 shoestrings. So we've been tricked, and I just said it last night. How did we get tricked into a system where the people that make the money tell us how much money we can make just so we can spend the money and give it back to them? Like it's the whole layout. Like, bro, we gonna create this money. We gonna control the money and tell them that it's everything, but they'll never be able to create their own. We never can create our own currency because we cannot. They've been operating on a Roman system of divide and conquer since the old days.
We need to overcome them. So we're gonna take we're gonna take a woman out and devalue her. Then, because it's internal, we start here. I'm saying, when I say infiltrate within, it start here.
Mm-hmm.
You start here. So you get your mind, you strip you away from everything you know.
Yeah.
Everything.
Absolutely.
So your mind fucked you. Excuse me, I don't know if you're in the person.
Yeah, hey, you know how I am. I'm gonna cuss my ass off because that's what I do in real life. I'm me on my platform. This is I tell everybody this is my platform. I share my perspectives, the way that I live life. I can't do it because if that's the case, I'll be at my dad's church every Sunday. But I understand and respect that the way that I convey this message is not the way that the church will receive this message. So I created a platform for me to give this message. But so my next point I'm gonna ask you about, now that I got you here, you all into it now. I like this. The grounding practices, meditation, prayer, nature, and journaling. Like just the ability to think and express that and get it out of here. So many times, us as Black people especially, we sit on ideas and thoughts. Imposter syndrome will be like, yo, I'm gonna go play the lottery. Nigga, you ain't gonna win the fucking lottery. Why would you even try that shit? And we'll sit there and be like, yeah, that's right. I ain't never won the damn lottery. But if you trusted that initial thought of saying, I should go play the lottery, you never know what could happen. Yeah.
And I couldn't hear you, and I'm not sure if you could really hear me.
Yeah.
As soon as you're in, my thoughts are,
it's you gotta keep yourself grounded, man. Like I don't care if you meditate, I don't care if you journal. Like I tell everybody, you should do all of the above. You should pray, you should meditate, you should journal.
I was about to say the same thing because that separates a dream, especially if you're journaling some goals or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, the main difference between
big fact.
That's going to become reality because once it's on paper, it no longer belongs to you.
Yeah, you putting it out to the universe. So that's why I tell everybody, like, my music is my journal. Everybody always say, Ceaze, what you be going through? Go listen to my music. It'll tell you everything. It'll tell you everything I'm dealing with.
Stuff that I've written.
We being trained, sis. We in the training grounds right now because in a minute, America is going to separate itself and they're going to look out for themselves like they've been doing. But now there's enough of us individuals who have actually tuned into the frequency we need to actually put together a system as long as everybody is willing to play their part. And that's the importance of the isolation. So,
like I said, it's hard as can say. I'm just picking up for myself.
What it say?
Be your own hero.
Man, listen, it's laid out as a format. If we were to, I tell Black people all the time, and this is my message to our people, be yourself. At the end of the day, when you find time to be yourself, you know me, I'm a big ass kid at heart. I have to find time to be creative. That's my imagination. That's when I go to the studio. I have to, when I stream my video games, that's me taking time for me. Like, yo, I enjoy doing this, so I'm going to do this for me. And
you also have to have a balance, right?
Yeah.
It's just you.
Yeah.
It's you. But if you are speaking to the people that may be in like relationships, yes, me time is extremely overdo the me time. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't take advantage of it. Like, don't be out, like, especially if you stay with the person and you don't come back in 2 days, tell us something you needed some free time.
Communication is, I'm going to tell you the truth, it's crazy because I genuinely feel like I'm going to be single for a while. Like, I genuinely don't want to share my space with people right now. Like,
that's big to know. And to be open, you know what I'm saying? That's big. You know what I mean? Dragging somebody along.
You know me. I'm a harsh, honest person. Like, if I don't fuck with some shit, I'm going to tell you off the top, I don't fuck with that. You know what I mean? And I know me, like, I have a certain energy, and my energy is big. And a lot of times when I share my space, a lot of people try to push that energy and be like, but what about me? And I just be like, it ain't about you right now. Like, I need time for me. I'm still here. And now, if you can share that space and coexist, and that's different.
Me time is definitely necessary.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just like the
communication is what has to.
Communication and comprehension.
Yeah.
Right. That is because a lot of people can communicate or whatever, but they don't be understanding.
They don't take time to listen. They just want to be heard. A lot of us have never been heard. But the key is,
they never been taught how to converse either.
you got to learn that you start with how you talk to yourself. You got to know how to talk to yourself. You got to know, like, okay, cool. This morning, we're going to knock this out. Prime example. I woke up at 8:30 this morning. I went to sleep at like 3 in the morning. But I woke up and I literally was like, all right, we're going to do something today.
2 hours.
You got a message you're not hearing. You got a message you're not hearing. And you know me, I don't miss. You got a message that you either not trying to hear or you're just not hearing it right now, which is not a bad thing. It's never a bad thing. It's timing. You have to trust divine timing. When that message hit, though, that's when you take action. And you have to take action. Because if not, it's the Ouroboros. It's the snake biting his own tail. If you're going to keep biting your own tail, you're just going to keep going in a loop. That leads into the fourth point and my final point for this first segment, and that's learning to listen to your own intuition. When it's time to go, it's time to go.
I'm still struggling with that.
It is, you got to lead with your mind. The heart ultimately, I had to learn this. The heart will always tell you what attracts and what is being rejected. The mind is where you start to store. That's the trauma starts up here. Trauma starts here and it goes down. And once that trauma hits your heart, every little thing that makes you feel like something you felt before, you reject it. It's got to be it's like the telephone. Telephone communication is constantly going back and forth. The mind and the heart have to communicate effectively. So the mind might say, we've seen this before. The heart might say, I felt this before. The mind then has to go back and say, when did we feel this?
It's a photographic memory type of
Absolutely.
thing. Flashes and shots.
The mind is used as a filing cabinet. Prince said that before.
And I truly believe if you control your world. I do believe in that.
Controlling your thoughts and control your thoughts, emotions, and words. If you can master those three things, life can be effortless.
These past situations and some current situations, like I don't pass judgment until I'm reminded of something. Yeah. And then I'll make it be known because I am that honest of a person too. Right? So, and I do know I am from Jersey. So it may come off as like, I don't appreciate that.
So the next topic that I got in my notes is how isolation reveals what drains or feeds your energy. And I spoke on that earlier because it's the second note that I got on this segment too is how isolation reveals what drains or feeds your energy. When you isolate, you become so much more aware of what you do and don't want in life. And that's so important.
Absolutely right. If you look at every holy book, from the Holy Bible to the Quran, let's speak of those two, right? Jesus went to isolate himself a few times. Mountains, the wilderness, fasting, and let's look at the Quran. Muhammad, he was in the cave. The cave. Sat in the cave and was shielded by.
It's where you're able to analyze properly without outside info. You don't have to expect. Nobody's telling you what you should be thinking about. Like when you isolate, you genuinely can review and reflect and be like, you know what? What really didn't make me feel like me today? What made me feel more like myself today? Like, and those are the things that, okay, tomorrow, and take note of it. That's where the journaling comes in at.
I was just about to say that. Get out of my head. Yeah.
Like, you got to be able to reflect. If you can't be honest with yourself, how can you be honest with the world? Like, I'm the first person I got to be honest with. Like, if I can't be honest with myself, that means I can't be honest with my partner. I can't be honest with my child. I can't be honest with my job, my friends. Like, it's hard for people. People fear judgment. And it be like, for what?
Yeah.
Like, for what? Because you don't want somebody to say they don't like you? Please tell me you don't like me, because I know to stay the fuck away from you then. Like, I don't want a bunch of yes men around. You know me. Like, I'm real big. Hey, let me know, because I ain't got to fuck with you. Yeah, because you can tell the bullshit. You have an internal compass to bullshit.
Like, I think I'm going to do this XYZ. Yeah, I think you should. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not what I want to hear.
You gotta find people that have that middle ground. Like, I don't like people that tell me yes to everything, but I don't like people that shut down everything neither.
Nah, yeah, right. Right, exactly. So I did not come to you.
Like, where's the middle ground with saying, like, I pay attention to what questions are asked after I tell people, like, I stop telling people what I'm doing first and foremost. Because I'm a very creative person. I realize talking to domesticated individuals, they never understand my creativity. They'll look at it and be like, but it's not making no money.
That part too. And on top of that, being creative and
not at all. A lot of people just don't want you to be bigger than them.
Right, and it's not. I was gonna say it's not because you. It's never your fault. It's not your fault. It's just that they don't see themselves.
The level of authenticity that we live with is scary for a lot of people because they could never do it. They don't know a life outside of their materialism and their.
They can't, but they choose not to.
That's true.
So, yeah, the domesticating, and that's the way at the bottom. But mostly we don't share because we don't want that thing. Because, a lot of people don't understand. My grandmother used to tell me, I learned this tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And now I understand what she meant by that. So,
if you don't like it, change it. That's one of my favorite things to tell people. If you don't like it, change it.
But don't say that it's,
Don't say you hate it. Don't say you don't like it. Just say right now, this ain't how I'm feeling. The biggest thing with that is like a lot of people look at money as currency. Like nowadays, I don't look at, on the universal standpoint, I look at time as the most important currency. According to their system, I don't like their system, so I don't highlight their system.
This is private, right? So we got to use it to make it work for us.
Right.
So we can use the energy, right? So what is currency?
Current flow.
So if we think of it as energy, we won't be so drawn to do whatever.
Not just kill ourselves, but humiliate ourselves. Like, I'm tired of seeing people humiliate themselves for money. It's like, bro.
So as soon as we start believing that we are energy being and everything around us is energy, money is currency, so it's going to flow to me. It's going to come.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I got to send you some YouTube videos I've been studying. I listen to at least 2 to 3 lectures every morning.
That's on my list. I feel you.
Yeah, like it just, the last one was living in the end. Like rather than living, like we are taught to live either in the past, in the moment, but we never think about the end goal. The Bible tells us that God knows his end goals before he even starts the process. He knows where he's going to eventually lead all of us.
Yeah, okay. So for example, in human life, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the spiritual, we all spent discussion with my partner was like, he did something I didn't over and I didn't like, I didn't care for.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what was you thinking when you thought of that was okay? He's like, I didn't think of it. Okay. So let me rephrase it. What outcome was you expecting? What outcome did you expect? I didn't even think of the end. Yeah.
You know my situation. I just got in trouble for the same. Look, I literally, what did you do it for? My answer, I was bored. I'm not gonna lie to you. There was really no reason for me doing it. Like I didn't think about it. I just did it. It was me reacting to a situation.
It's going to ask the four part.
Yeah.
It's going to ask your plan.
Yeah. Yeah.
Your plan.
And I think even if we handle our kids in the same way, like whenever I have to talk to Corey, I don't be like, you know, you messed up and I should whoop your ass. And I'm literally just like, yo, what was the reason for that? Like, what was you thinking? Like, what was you? And you usually get a better answer because if you threaten your kid, now you put them in a space of fear. All they can think about is, I got to say what I need to say not to get punished. But if you sit down and have that conversation, hey, what was going through your mind when you were doing this? And the crazy part is, I'm going to tell you the truth. Most people don't want to hear nothing outside of what they want to hear. So when you tell them, like, you know me, if I do something, I'm going to say, oh, I did that for this reason. A lot of people don't want to hear that because they looking for the usual answer. Or they got it in their head that, okay, this is all, I'm expecting this answer. I don't expect shit from a human being.
There we go.
I don't expect shit.
like if I'm gonna make it personal, I think that's what we're getting out of most of our disagreements because he gotta learn this type of woman. I'm not different. I'm not, not at all. I'm different. You know what I mean? Like oh, she is like that. He say it all the time, like, different, but a good different. So learning this aspect, I don't want you to tell me what you think I want to hear.
Yeah.
You're like, no, I want honest truth, no matter how it come off. No.
Like, I get it all the time. Like, a lot of females that look at me and be like, they expect me to be the typical hood nigga. And I love it. I love it because it keeps away the ones that I don't need to be around. Because you already coming with expectations. Like, I want a woman that's genuinely looking at me and saying, yo, tell me your life and tell me how you got it. A woman that looks for understanding and wants to actually build more, so she has to know what you come from in order to get you where you want to be.
And however, that woman also has to know how do we get in relationships? Did I do this? We also have to, the woman also has to check herself in a sense. So, like, oh, what did I go wrong in that? Maybe I could have did something a little different. And again, back to making a little personal. I check myself all the time in disagreements, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's power, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you know what? I do be coming off to you a little bit too bad. Trust me, it's not because I don't care or love you.
It literally comes from a standstill. Like you, again, everything that we just discussed comes back to what? Understanding yourself as an individual, which requires what? Isolation. Before you can get into a relationship, a lot of us have been tricked to thinking we need a partner. There has to be two of us to make us greater. This is not Dragon Ball Z. I'm sorry. You don't do no fusing until you know your ultimate power as an individual. You have to know your power as an individual before you can offer anything. I can't come to you and say, hey, this is what I can offer you. Or like they say nowadays, this is what I bring to the table. You don't know what you bring to the table because all we looking at is material assets and money. Nobody knows what their spiritual gifts are. Nobody knows what their intellect level is. Most people don't even know their personality type, let alone their DNA build. I'm a generator, baby. I can come to you and tell you, oh, what do you bring to the table? Believe me, anything that you do, I could take my energy and put it into you the same way you could put it into me, and we can make something great. But most people ain't ready for that conversation because all they can see is where you work, how much money you make, what's your favorite food. I don't care about those things.
It's so minor.
I care more. I'm more likely to ask a female, what's the last book you read?
Did you get that from me?
That's always been me. I'm a Harry Potter nerd. I've been a Harry Potter nerd since elementary school. So like books have always been. I like the nerds.
That says a whole lot. This is,
I tell everybody quick, I'm very much a sapiosexual. Like I can't find you attractive if I don't find your intellect attractive. Your body could be banging, but yet and still I'm gonna look at you like, bro, she's a fucking dummy. She's an airhead. And a lot of people get offended when I say that. I'm like, nah, like she's an airhead. Like she doesn't think. Like she just reacts.
Bottle, but your soda is flat.
Soda flat as fuck. Soda flat as fuck. Like you got all this juice, but like, dog, the sugar levels are crazy. Like, dog.
And for the juice perspective, you got the nice car with the engine. What's the car without an engine?
You got a Chevelle with a 4-cylinder engine in it. Like, bro, you're not even pushing half of what you could, bro.
I see past that. And then part of my gifts is I see light in people.
See, you see light. I just pick up. I hate that I'm an empathic Cancer. I being an empathic Cancer, it's like, bro, you don't stand a chance. Like I was on Bigo last night because I heard Bigo been growing as a social media platform. So I'm sitting there like everybody that popped up, I'm just like, okay, you got good energy. Like, how you doing? Da 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 da. Like, and it was just a vibe. Like, then one person popped in, they didn't show their face, and I was just instantly like, Like, I'm very much like selective. I used to be for everybody. Like, I used to be that guy that said, hey, I got everybody. Like, if we into it, we into it. Like, if we going out, we going out. But now it's like, nigga, like, what do I genuinely want to do?
Right.
I don't have a problem with saying, like, no, I ain't going out tonight. Why? I just don't feel like it. I'm not a people pleaser anymore. And that's one of the biggest things that has helped me, even with this. So many people have tried to tell me not to get on this platform and talk. Like, they be like, nah, You gonna cause an uproar, the government gonna come after you. Bro, if they gonna do that, they gonna do it anyway. But if I don't get on here, I might not be able to educate somebody on something they need. Because of my own insecurities, because of my fears, I don't have fear. I'm a Tupac baby, you know that. If they gonna do that, they gotta do that. But in the meantime, me understanding that I'm still here every day that I wake up, I have to do this. And like, I'm getting back into it now. Like, I have to do this. Like, even if it's just an hour, I have to do this. Because when I don't do it, guess what? I get punished.
Maybe, you know what I gotta do? You know, homeschool, so I'm gonna make sure they good. Well, maybe next time you come on, you brought up Tupac, and you know how much that guy. Let's talk about him beyond the music.
Anytime. You know, I'm all about that, man. Like, that's I'm a Tupac baby. Tupac raised me. I tell everybody that. Because once I first heard, I think the first album I heard was All Eyes on Me. My mama had it on a tape, if I'm not mistaken. And I took her tape and I ran to my room and I just played it. And it was just like, it was powerful. And like, when I started doing music, like, you know me, everybody used to, hey bro, you sound like Tupac. I'd be like, don't tell me that. No, I don't want to sound like Tupac. Like,
sometimes embodying certain, that's one person to embody, and if you want to embody somebody, look at Kendrick.
I learned from Kendrick how to channel those spirits because I'm connected to that world. So now I tell everybody, when I'm in the studio, I think a lot on Tupac. I think a lot on Nipsey. If I'm really in the mood, I think about Vaughn. Like, end of the day, like, if we talking, we talking. Like, but it's I understand my duality. Like, I understand my duality. Like, I'm not always gonna be love and light. Jesus was love and light, and look what happened to him. The Romans crucified him. They hung him from a tree. Crucifixion was a Roman torture device. They would hang you from a tree like this. Like, they would stretch you out and pin you to a tree and leave you there. It's crazy because we know how, we read the Bible, we hear about how the Roman Empire killed, we know, to be a black man, and they taught us that they would hang black men for disobeying. If you don't, look, what they say, if you don't do good in school, you fail. If you don't follow religion, you go to hell. And what's the last one? They all rhyme. And I gotta send you that.
Yeah, you gotta send me that one.
But it's when I first heard it, I was like, damn. Hell. And it's a third one, and it rhymes. They all.
Yeah.
There you go. If you don't follow the rules, you go to jail. You don't do good in school, you fail. And if you don't follow religion, you go to hell.
He wasn't even Christian. We don't talk about that. He didn't even be after the assassination.
After they killed him, they literally started to divide. They burned down the library at Alexandria. They took all of our metaphysics. They took all of our knowledge. And they combined it into these fairy tales and told us, hey, this is what you live your life as.
Sorry, you're not moving the hood.
You, man, listen. Ain't nothing new. We've been there before. But I'm just 11-11. So I'm going to ask you, before we get off this call, I'm going to ask you this. How long TikTok need me to establish that I'm still here? Okay. This is my last question. And this is, we had 53 minutes. I said I was going to stay here for an hour. So, give me 2 questions that you ask yourself during your reflection periods.
So my reflections right? And then most likely reflected on some goals or a situation. Be like, where am I at with this?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm stuck, why am I stuck?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes reflection is just like, no, I just need to hear this spirit. Honestly, it's just like quiet. Don't quiet up. Just
like my biggest question, the question I always start with when I'm in my reflection, and you know me, I'm a nerd. I always envision myself in my isolation chamber like Vegeta. Vegeta sat in his chamber and just sat there. I always ask, how do I feel? Right now in this moment, how do I feel? And I have to be honest with myself. You don't get to say, well, I feel all right, but no, like, okay, cool. Let's reflect the day. Let's start at the beginning hour. We woke up at 8:30 this morning. By 9:30, we was pissed off. Why? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we was there today. Like, why did we get there? What got us there? And like most of the time, we've been taught this love and light shit to the point where it's just like, oh, it's okay. And nah, like, take note of that. Take note of how that person made you feel, because now you know, like, I don't like that energy. I don't like how that made me feel. And it's okay not to like how shit makes you feel, but you have to take note of it. My second question is, what am I going to do to change that feeling? Next time I run into that situation, what am I going to do to change that?
Yeah. That's a great question, because I'm always giving my reaction.
You got to stop reacting. You got to trust that. You got to trust to be yourself in every situation.
Everything may deserve a response. Everything deserves a response, and that response may be to do or say nothing.
Absolutely. Everything doesn't deserve your reaction. It doesn't. Your reaction is energy based. A response is when you've thought it out and you respond accordingly. But a reaction is pure energy. We know how I react, so we have no choice but to not. As a child of Ogun, like, I genuinely try not to react.
So my reflections are really frequent.
Yeah, like, you have to, like, I reflect when I leave. Once we shut this down, on my walk back to the apartment, like, I'm literally going to be asking myself, how did I feel doing this conversation? What parts of it do I want to highlight? Because of course I got to clip it. I got to do all of that. So, but I definitely appreciate you stopping in. But anytime I'm up and I'm doing it, I'll probably be doing these. I'm gonna try to do at least one every day. Sometimes I might do them in the morning, might do them in the afternoon. Wednesdays it'll be at 3 p.m. So that's a better. But we gonna tap in. Like, I have to get this out, because every time I got my spiritual cleansing a couple months ago, and he asked me, he said, "Did you start that podcast yet?" I said, "God damn." I said, I guess I got to start talking a little bit. So this is my efforts to my mission, and this is just my way of doing my mission. I mean, I want to get on here, utilize technology, so that way I can have a worldwide platform instead of just being local. I don't want to change the church. I want to change the world, even if it's one person at a time.
At a time. That's all I'm saying. I'll be right there. Go do what you
Go ahead, sis. Go ahead. Perfect timing. I love you guys. Y'all take it easy. Yeah. All right. There we go. All right. So getting back to the foundation. Before I cut this off, I just want to say I appreciate everybody who did stop in and peep out the live. Today's message was isolation and the importance of it. So we just gonna run down some of the points. We didn't cover all the points on my notes, but we had a great. So the first point was the importance of isolation and the difference between isolation and seclusion. So with isolation, like I said, isolation is more of a will to be by yourself and to actually dive in and understand who you are. Solitude can be looked at as a punishment. Silence helps you connect with your higher purpose. It shouldn't be looked at as a negative. It should be looked at as something that needs to be done. You have to reflect. You have to have time for yourself. And so many times, a lot of us get caught up in having people around us because we don't like to be by ourselves. A lot of y'all can't face y'all demons. A lot of y'all can't be alone with yourself because you don't like the thoughts. But that's the first step to healing, is being able to conquer yourself. You can't go outside and be somebody that you're not without having an understanding of who you really are. And that's where that time alone is needed. The next note was grounding practices, meditation, prayer, whatever, nature, like journaling. Like, I tell everybody to incorporate all 4 of them. Like, start journaling at night about your day. Like, start walking in nature. Start praying. Start meditating. The meditation is where you listen to yourself. Prayer is where you send out your request to the universe. Whatever you label it is. I just call it source because I don't believe in labels anymore. And learn to listen to your intuition. Learn to listen to yourself. Like, follow your own intuition. You don't have to sit there and be like, oh, I got to listen to this person. Stop listening to so many different people and listen to yourself. You'll never steer yourself wrong. The second thing is spending. You spend your time. You spend your money after you spend your time. You spend your time to make the money, but what you spend your time on is ultimately what's going to make or break you. So make your time your biggest investment. Don't make it something that you look at and be like, oh, I ain't got time for this. You always have time. The only time you don't have time is when you prioritize anything outside of yourself. So emotional spending. Stop giving your energy to people that just want to drain you. If people aren't pouring back into you and they're not helping you to be a better you, and every time you go around these people, you're tired or you're irritated, bro, stop being around those people. It's that simple, literally. Stop doing things that drain your energy and find things that charge you up. Reflection was segment 3, the power of stillness and self-evaluation. Like, the more you get to know yourself, the better off you'll be. Absolutely. The more you get to know yourself, the better you'll be, because you learn how to trust your own judgment. You don't have to do what other people are doing. Other people are only going to tell you how to make them better. They probably done learned the game unintentionally most times. They just know, okay, I can get this from this person. I can get this from that person. Like, spend your time on yourself and actually understand who you are. It's okay to be by yourself. Ask yourself 2 questions every day. Me, myself, I ask myself, how do I feel? How did I feel with every situation that came through the day? Once I ask that, I counter it with, what can I do to change anything that I did not? And the final is, use isolation as a mirror, not a punishment. Use that isolation to be honest with yourself. Use that isolation to be open with yourself. Use that isolation in order to actually fully understand yourself. So with that, I'm checking out. Y'all have a good day. I hope that everybody be aware in every moment. Continue to build, continue to grow, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Be easy, gang.